So let's start with the basics. On Friday, September 5th, Jon Reep, age 53, was arrested by officers from the Hickory Police Department. According to officials, he was booked on 1 count of second-degree sexual exploitation of a minor and 9 counts of third-degree sexual exploitation of a minor. These aren't small charges. They are felonies. The Catawba County Sheriff's Office confirmed his arrest and booking, and almost immediately, the story spread beyond North Carolina, grabbing national attention. The details have left many fans stunned, especially since Reep was scheduled to perform that very night in Goldsboro, North Carolina, according to his official website. As this case develops, one key thing to watch will be how the legal process unfolds. Reep will likely appear in court soon to address the charges, and that's when details about evidence, defense strategy, and potential next steps will start to surface. Depending on how the case progresses, outcomes could range from plea deals to a full trial. In situations like this, it's common for both prosecution and defense teams to weigh whether a jury trial is in the best interest of their client or the community. Until then, every step forward will be closely followed by both fans and critics alike. Another major piece of the puzzle will be how Reep's career responds to this. Comedy is an industry built on reputation and connection with audiences. Even before any legal verdict, being associated with charges this serious can have lasting impacts on bookings, partnerships, and fan support. For someone who once had national recognition and a loyal fan base, the road back, if there even is one, will be incredibly difficult. Venues, promoters, and streaming platforms are often quick to distance themselves from performers facing criminal allegations, and this case is unlikely to be an exception. So where does this leave us? For now, Jon Reep is out on bond awaiting his next court appearance. The charges against him are serious, and while the justice system will determine the outcome, the impact of the arrest is already significant. Fans are left stunned. Communities are grappling with the news, and the comedy world has one less voice on stage, at least for the foreseeable future. As more information emerges, we'll continue to see how this story develops. But one thing is clear. This case is about more than a comedian's fall from grace. It's about the ongoing work to protect children, the importance of digital watchdog efforts, and how quickly a career can unravel when allegations of this magnitude come to light. So how did this investigation begin? Back in April of 2025, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children sent a cyber tip to Hickory Police. The tip reportedly flagged potential child sexual abuse material tied to Jon Reep. From there, the Hickory Police Department opened a case and began their investigation. Over the course of several months, detectives gathered evidence and even confiscated some of Reep's personal property. Though exact details of what was seized have not been made public, this wasn't a snap decision or an overnight arrest. It came after months of work and collaboration between multiple agencies dedicated to stopping child exploitation crimes online. The legal process escalated quickly in early September when a grand jury handed down an indictment. On September 2nd, Jon Reep was formally charged with multiple counts tied to cyberspace crimes. Indictments usually mean that investigators believe there is enough evidence to proceed with a criminal case. By the time September 5th rolled around, law enforcement moved in to arrest Reep at his residence. He was booked into jail and held until bond was posted later that same day. The bond was set at $260,000, a significant amount, but one he was able to pay to secure release pending his next court date. Now, if you're wondering what these charges actually mean, here's a quick breakdown. Second-degree sexual exploitation of a minor generally involves knowingly possessing, duplicating, or distributing child sexual abuse material. Third-degree exploitation can include more specific activities tied to possessing such material. Both are serious felony charges in North Carolina, carrying the potential for prison time and long-term consequences. While we don't yet know how prosecutors will present their full case, the sheer number of charges, 10 in total, paints a picture of how serious authorities believe this situation is. For those who may not be familiar with Jon Reep's career, here's some background. Born and raised in Hickory, North Carolina, Reep became a recognizable face in the comedy world when he appeared on NBC's Last Comic Standing. In fact, he won the entire competition in 2007, which launched his career nationally. He also starred in the ABC sitcom Rodney and appeared in commercials and various stand-up specials. For many fans, his reputation was that of a fun-loving Southern comic who connected with everyday audiences. That's part of why this arrest feels so shocking. It's a sharp contrast to the image many people had of him. As with any developing legal case, it's important to note what we don't yet know. So far, Reep hasn't made any public statements. It's also not clear if he has secured legal representation or entered an official plea in court. These early stages often involve a lot of unanswered questions, and more information usually comes out as hearings and court filings move forward. Right now, the public record consists mostly of the arrest report, the indictment, and confirmation from local officials that he was released on bond. Until formal hearings take place, speculation will remain just that, speculation. The timing of the arrest has also been drawing attention. Reep was reportedly scheduled to perform in Goldsboro, North Carolina, on the very same night he was booked into jail. Fans who might have had tickets to that show were left wondering what exactly happened, and many only learned about the situation when the news hit headlines. Comedy shows are usually a place for laughter and escape, but in this case, the timing made the contrast between his public persona and his legal troubles even starker. Beyond Reep's individual case, this story highlights how law enforcement agencies and watchdog organizations track internet crimes. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children is often at the front line, receiving and forwarding tips about suspicious activity. These tips can come from internet service providers, tech companies, or even concerned citizens. Once received, local police departments evaluate the credibility of the information, and, if it's solid, an investigation begins. In this case, that process ultimately led to a grand jury indictment and arrest. It's a reminder of how important these networks are in identifying and stopping potential exploitation. Beyond Reep's individual case, this story highlights how law enforcement agencies and watchdog organizations track internet crimes. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children is often at the front line, receiving and forwarding tips about suspicious activity. These tips can come from internet service providers, tech companies, or even concerned citizens. Once received, local police departments evaluate the credibility of the information, and, if it's solid, an investigation begins. In this case, that process ultimately led to a grand jury indictment and arrest. It's a reminder of how important these networks are in identifying and stopping potential exploitation. Imagine scrolling through your feed on a regular Friday afternoon and suddenly seeing headlines that a well-known comedian, someone you might have seen on TV or live on stage, is facing serious charges connected to child exploitation. Shocking, right? That's exactly what happened when news broke that Jon Reep, the stand-up comedian and actor best known for winning Last Comic Standing back in 2007, was arrested in his hometown of Hickory, North Carolina. This story isn't just about a celebrity scandal. It's about law enforcement, how internet crimes against children are tracked, and what this means for the communities that once supported him. Today, we're breaking down exactly what we know about Jon Reep's arrest, the charges he's facing, and the timeline that led to his name being splashed across national headlines.